Welcome back to Soapbox Wire podcast. My name is Louie, and I'm sitting here today with Jerry Mascolo
of Drunken Sailor Productions.
Today we're going to be talking about the minimum wage hike that is being proposed in New Jersey. There's actually going to be question number 2 for everybody to vote on. And if you do vote, I'm saying that you should vote no on this question, where Jerry has a different idea. Jerry thinks you should be voting yes?
Absolutely, you should be voting yes.
Okay. Could I get your explanation why vote yes?
Yeah, it's very simple. And it's weird because I've been hearing that it's a big Democratic thing. The liberals are saying to vote yes.
Right.
But when you think about it as a conservative, you would want to vote yes. Because if you increase how much minimum wage is, somebody's better able to afford the cost of living, and we all know cost of living is going up. And if they can afford cost of living, that means they're not relying on government funding, Section 8, EBT, whatever. And therefore, that cuts out my taxes going to these people.
I could see that point being pretty good, but what happens is, for instance, let's say if you're working for a McDonald's or even Walmart, it's usually part-time position, all right? It should be an entry-level position. For instance, it should be somebody that's going to school, somebody that could work part-time, somebody that doesn't have a family. That's the people that should be working there.
I'm glad you're saying should.
A minimum wage should not affect those people. For instance, if I have a son, a daughter, that's going through high school, going through college, it's okay for her to work or him to work at a McDonald's, a Walmart, just so they could get extra money for college. I feel, at least, a person with 2 kids that's actually working full-time or trying to work full-time shouldn't be working in those places. So their minimum wage shouldn't have a factor.
Unfortunately, that's very idealistic, and we know that that's very often not the case. I heard an interesting fact, and I'm so ashamed where I heard it, so I take it with a big grain of salt, because I heard it on...
I gotta hear this.
I heard it on Real Time with Bill Maher.
Oh, that's it. This is over. Yeah, I'm shutting down.
I tried to...
You listened to Bill Maher?
No, because I was... No, never. I was like, I'd rather watch Skinamax than Bill Maher, but... there was something, and it's funny that you brought up McDonald's. They said the new average age of a McDonald's employee is 29.
Why?
Because the economic downturn, air quotes, has made companies and big corporations, McDonald's, Walmart, so on, lean on that crutch where it's like, hey, times are tough, can't afford you. And that other companies, mom and pops, are using too. You know, I'm hearing that at my 9 to 5 sometimes. So it's a new crutch for heads to lean on. I don't like it, but that's where you're getting your overflow of 29-year-olds who are asking you if you want to supersize your meal. And again, considering the new demographic working, cost of living, everything's factoring in. And we need to adjust as times adjust.
Well, I understand that if you're going to think about a regular person working there, they need more money to support their family, to pay their mortgage, pay their rent, whatever it is. But my whole point is they shouldn't be working in these places. Either they should be working at a full-time position, and then maybe if they still need extra money, work at a part-time for McDonald's or Walmart. They shouldn't be working trying to work full-time as McDonald's. McDonald's should be a stepping point for kids, maybe immigrants. They shouldn't be working there. I feel that if they work there, they're going to think, well, I'm just going to work a job that you don't really need that much responsibility, and I'm just going to grub off the government because they're going to give me all those programs that you mentioned with like SNAP and everything that they just don't want any responsibility, so it's an easy position for them. They shouldn't be working in that area. They should be working as, alright, let's say if you're going to be at McDonald's, you want to become a manager, or you want to work McDonald's just part-time so you could get a position somewhere else. If you're going to work at Walmart as part-time, your next step should be looking, hey, if you don't want a big job, maybe ShopRite, because ShopRite gives you a full-time position. That should just be a stepping stone to your next position. So minimum wage shouldn't affect you.
Well, unfortunately, sometimes stepping stones become where you're at. Especially, again, and I'm gonna keep going back to this one, I feel. Human resources heads, whoever you want to call it, are gonna lean on, hey, we have to run lean because of this downturn. And again, they still use it. And you speak with such a certainty because I know you personally. You have a 9-to-5, a well-paying 9-to-5. You're not out there trying to find a job. I tried to look for a second job, and even trying to find a second job was a hassle. So you can't. Yeah, again, idealistically, if you're in a certain age demographic or you have a certain living situation, single mom, whatever. Yeah, maybe there is again, an idealistic job for you, but reality is, unfortunately, maybe the only job you can get is a fry cook at McDonald's or a Walmart greeter. And it's that where, again, think about this, when they're on government programming, when your Walmart greeter's on government programming, our taxes are paying an employee of a big corporation like Walmart. You mean to tell me Walmart can't afford to, say, pay, let's be very generous, say $10? Even to a person to say, hi, welcome to Walmart. $10, though, might keep them off the government aid, which would help keep our taxes down.
So if that greeter from Walmart is getting paid $10 an hour, right, what's going to give him the motivation or give him the incentive of moving up? If he's okay at $10 an hour, who wouldn't want to do, hey, welcome to Walmart?
For $10, I mean, yeah.
You as a human being should want to move up in a position, move up in life. If you're making $7 or $8 an hour, you're going to want to move up. You want $10. You want $15. Now, if somebody's going to say, okay, now especially on this question, on question number 2, is they're going to tie it to the Constitution. So it's going to be, I believe, $8.50 this year. And then next year, depending on the cost of living, they could bring it up. And then depending on the year after that, they could bring it up even more. So eventually this Walmart greeter that's getting paid $8 or $7 something today, in a couple of years from now, could be making $15 an hour. Why would he want to leave that position?
Well, then maybe it becomes like a tiered program depending on skill required, education level.
But that's already it. That's already set where the company itself, not the government, is setting that. The company wants to pay this greeter $7. They're probably paying their cashier $8 and goes on. I'm sure they're not paying their managers $8 an hour.
Yeah, we know that.
Right? So that's the way it's set up. Now, for instance, let's say you go to McDonald's today. You could get a combo for $8. All right? When the minimum wage goes up, would you be okay paying $12 for that combo? $15 for that combo? Because let's face it, facts. Corporations are not going to take it.
Of course.
They're not going to say, oh, all right, well, we're going to have to pay our employees more. You know what? Let's just raise the prices. That's all they're going to do. And what if Walmart goes, because it's happened already in Washington, D.C., where they want Walmart to unionize. And Walmart says, well, if we're going to unionize, then we won't go to Washington, D.C. Now, Walmart, on any town, probably employs 500 people. That's 500 people without a job, just because the government got involved.
It's very tough for me to argue because I don't like to admit this, especially on recording. I do agree with you. This is going to
be great.
I do agree with you. But I'm gonna have to play devil's advocate here. I think, you see, that's what the problem is. These big corporations, very much so, can afford to lose whatever it is in a higher salary for these people. Because again, we're arguing what's minimum wage now? $7.50.
Yes.
Realistically, what could minimum wage go up to at best? $8.50? Is that
Right, that's what they're
it's
proposing.
it's $1. Again, when corporations have millions of people in their employ, that sounds like a big number to you and me because I'd like $1 million. But these big corporations that are trillion-dollar corporations can afford to lose it. They don't need to hit us with it. They don't need to jack their prices up anymore. And if they do, in a year, we're going to be, or the next vote, we're going to be in that same situation where cost of living is going up again because they feel the need to. They don't pass the savings on; they pass the spending on,
right.
if you will. And it's that practice that maybe the government needs to get in on and regulate that more, I think. Because, again, as cost of living keeps going up, you can't keep a low-tier level pay and then expect to pay $8 or something or, whatever.
Right, I understand that, but that's where eventually everything is going to be cost more because people are getting paid more. You're bringing minimum wage up. So now McDonald's says, we're going to charge more for our combos, and we know we could charge more because people are making more.
Okay, but then again, what happens is when they do that, whatever surplus that you thought you were going to have with this dollar bump is gone because of McDonald's, Walmart, whoever else feeling the need to tighten the belt on you. And then again, you're going to be going up saying, I need a raise or I need this.
Right. So this actually is going to be hurting regular people. And that's why I said those positions should be entry positions. Entry level, that's it. That's for high school kids, college kids. That's for immigrants that are starting out and move on. People that just don't want a responsibility, don't want a job that's going to be hard on them. Well, that's the fact that they're going to do. That they're going to work on this position. That's what they have to take. They should have incentive to move up, and taking incentive is want to move up, not because the government's going to give them more money.
Well, I think also too then that completely falls on the individual because you can dissect any job. You're going to have your A-level guys who bust their ass. Can I curse? Can I say ass?
Yeah, you can say ass, yeah.
Bust their ass.
Whatever, just throw it all out.
All right. We're going to bust their ass for the job. And then you're going to have your guys who sit back and rest because, again, I'll take my nameless 9 to 5, where there are individuals who know I am making X teen amount of dollars.
Right.
I know I'm good. I know I don't have to worry about anything, so I can sit back and I'll enjoy my income. Then you have your other people who sit back and say, hey, I'm making $9. This is a place that has growth, opportunity. Let me work for you. You have those people everywhere. You have them in McDonald's.
Right.
You have them in Walmart. I kind of lost my train of thought, but I'm going to say this. And I just wonder where the breaking point is. Because it's either the government is too into it, or they're not into it enough. And either way, it's bad. There's no, middle ground anymore. So, what I think needs to happen is we need to impeach President Obama, because that's where this happened. It's all his fault.
That's a surprise. I didn't see that coming. Well, that's never going to happen, impeaching him. One thing I don't understand is we do have a lot of issues going on in America, and it seems that American people, or I should say regular Americans, don't care. They don't vote. They don't go out to vote. When I started the podcast, I even said, if you're going to vote, because majority of the people don't vote. You probably have 50% of the people, if that go out to vote. Now, my whole thing is, I don't know if you saw, but Soapbox Wire had a video with Russell Brand on, where he says he wants to start his own revolution, where people don't go vote. Nobody votes. That's his revolution. To show Congress and show our political figures that we're not taking it anymore, so we're not going to vote anymore. I like Russell Brand. I think he's brilliant, he's smart, but for this, he's a douchebag.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why is, to me, I think that's what our politics are. People who are Congress representatives, that's what they want. They don't want American people to vote. Because all they really need is one vote, and they win. That's it. So all they really need to do is get their supporters and their cronies to vote for them, and they win anyway. They don't want the regular people to vote. So my revolution that I'm going to start is everybody go vote. Let's have 100% voter turnout, even 95, because right now it's probably in the 50%.
Anything's better than what we got
Right?
now.
And what I would say is, vote that guy out. Doesn't matter if he's Democrat or Republican. Just vote him out. Next election, if he's not doing a good job, vote him out. Next election, you're not happy, vote him out. And just doesn't matter if they're Republican or Democrat. Eventually, they would understand and say, well, I better do my job. If not, I'll get voted out.
The problem, though, is it doesn't matter because lobbyists will get their guy in. And just like we saw with President Barack Hussein Obama, will say whatever it takes to get into office. Think about how much promise, how much change was talked about before he was elected.
Right.
And how much actually happened. And the more intelligent or the smarter of your listeners will turn around and say, well, what can a Democrat do if the House is all Republican? Or
I love to hear that, because one thing is, and I'm sure you're just going to touch on it, is he had a Democratic House 4 years before the Republicans came in. But go ahead.
Oh, it doesn't matter who the puppet is, who's saying anything. What matters is the people pulling the strings, and those are the people that you can't elect, because it's companies like Big Tobacco, or whatever. I said Big Tobacco because that's the go-to,
right?
Like conspiracy,
right?
Is Big Tobacco, whoever it is, that get their guy in public eye, that get them front and center, that make you think, oh, wait a minute, maybe I should be voting for.
But Obama was supposed to stop lobbyists. That was one of his.
Listen, you can't stop politics anywhere, especially in a political three-ring circus.
See,
like
but
that.
That's where I think you can. The regular American people start voting, and they vote the person out. Now, I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. You don't care what big companies, the big tobacco, General Electric, or anything like that is going to say. Because you want your job, and you know the voter turnout of the next election will be at 95% and up. You're going to do your job for the American people. Yes, now you're right. Now there's lobbyists, there's big corporations taking care of everything. But the reason why they're taking care of this country is because the politicians know that they're not going to get voted out. That's where my whole revolution is everybody votes would work in place, and everybody would be scared that they would have to do their job if not they get voted out.
Well, thank God for them. They don't have to worry about that, because unfortunately, you're never going to see a turnout. I mean, even again, let's go to my favorite whipping boy. Look at Obama. What really? They talk about what kind of voter turnout they had for him, but how? I mean, like, it wasn't like record-breaking numbers. It was just like an obscene amount of people, like,
that didn't really know what he was.
Yeah, they're just like, oh,
right.
This is different.
Yeah, but even for instance, you have Cory Booker, just won Senate, right? I know. I have to mention him though. If we're talking politics or stupid politics, I have to mention him. He just won Senate, and granted, the guy who was running against him wasn't all that smart, all that bright.
Yeah.
But Cory Booker did absolutely nothing to Newark. If anything, Newark got worse with Cory Booker.
Yeah, but
Because you have crazy amount of carjacks. The gangs are bigger, which he still admits there's no gangs in Newark. Why vote him as senator? Why not at least try somebody different?
because Cory and B.H. Obama are the first two. They're pioneers in a new age of elections, where it's social media based. I mean, look at when John McCain was running.
Yes.
When John McCain was running, he was the most liberal conservative I have ever seen.
Right.
He was everything that he was talking about sounded like it was a lefty kind of thing to talk about, but it was coming from the right side. But he got bogged down with typical old white guy Republican, and Obama hit stuff like Facebook, and possibly even So with these new channels out there, you're seeing a lot of politicians use it, some ineffectually, but people like Cory Booker and Obama come out on top because they know how to use it, and they use it very well. I saw Barack Obama on Conan O'Brien, Cory Booker on Conan O'Brien. They're all over Twitter now. They're all over Facebook. It's this new reach that is getting into the younger crowd, and they're getting the younger crowd is very impressionable, but they're not impressionable based on facts, based on reforms, based on platforms, based on anything that's actually pertinent to a political job. But they're impressionable based on, hey, he has 27 million followers. I think he's good. And that's, unfortunately, that's the new revolution that's coming. Is, they call it the blogosphere.
Right.
That's the revolution.
But that's where I've been saying for years now that the new generation just gets dumber and dumber as it goes on, because those people, unfortunately, do not turn on the news. And I don't care if they turn on Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, they just don't turn on the news. And unfortunately, they're voting for a popular guy. And the popular guy is not necessarily going to be the best politician.
Well, they turn on like Jon Stewart and the Colbert Report,
Jon Stewart, he's funny. I'll give it to him. But one thing happens when he gets cornered, he goes from a politician to, I'm just a comedian.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, unfortunately, they get the news from them. So, it's just interesting. I hope everybody goes to vote November 5th, and they vote no.
I hope they absolutely vote yes. Because mostly, speaking personally now, Louis is wrong 95% of the time. And this is one of those times.
So that's just the reason why you want them to vote yes, because Louis is wrong 95% of the time.
I rounded up.
Oh, rounded up, thanks.
Yeah.
So it's like what?
94.67 is the exact number.
Really?
95 sounds nice.
Interesting. So that's the only reason why you want them to vote yes?
Well, not the only reason. It's not a majority, but it's a strong portion.
All right.
It's a strong portion.
Well, either way, I hope everybody goes to vote, and don't listen to me. Don't listen to Jerry. Do your research.
Inform yourself.
Inform yourself. Get some facts, and think common sense.
Yeah, that's what's really lacking. That and a strong viewership of Drunken Sailor films on YouTube.
Drunken Sailor films. I've seen a couple. They're actually pretty funny.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I mean, they're no soap picks, but
soap picks are a hit.
We tried.
Everybody likes soap picks.
Yeah.
Maybe one day we could collaborate a little bit and get a video going on for Soapbox Wire.
I would greatly appreciate that.
Great. Thank you. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks Jerry for showing up.
Jerry Mascolos, Drunken Sailor.
I love it. Again, thanks. I hope everybody enjoys this podcast, and leave your comments. Let us know what you think. Are you voting yes? Are you voting no? Or are you just not voting at all? Thanks. See you later.
Bye.